You're listening to the Spend 10K a Day podcast, brought to you by the performance marketing experts at Mute 6. This is your source for cutting-edge insight into the world of online advertising from the team with more Facebook case studies in 2016 than any other agency on the planet. Here are your hosts, Steve Wise and Stuart Anderson.
Welcome back to the Spend 10K a Day podcast. I'm Stuart Anderson here, as always, with my good friend Steve Weiss. Today we're talking about direct-to-consumer strategy for retail and wholesale brands, how to get into the e-commerce game. Steve, talk to me about what the most important things that retail or wholesale brands can do when they're starting to market themselves in the e-commerce world.
So we actually speak on a daily basis to a lot of companies who are selling wholesale. What that means is they're selling on Amazon. You know, they're selling on Groupon. They're selling direct to brick and mortar. And their goal is they want higher margins. They want to sell direct to consumer. And we always have like a little checklist that we discuss of what you need to do to go direct to consumer. How do you transition your business from selling to a wholesaler where you're getting big fat orders for specific products to, you know, selling one SKU at one time to multiple consumers. So we have a little checklist that we built in house that we kind of go through when we discuss making this amazing transition from B2B to B2C.
Yeah. So, let's talk about specifics. What are the most important things that companies can do? You know, they've been selling, in brick and mortar. They've been selling to, other retailers. Now they want to sell direct to consumer. They're setting up their online store. They're starting to advertise. What are those most important things that they need to remember, that they need to focus on to have a successful marketing strategy?
Number one, choose a platform. We're a little biased. We work very closely with Shopify. We're always going to be biased. Shopify is a marketer's wet dream. And let me tell you why. You do not need to be a programmer to make edits to a Shopify website. There's a multitude of plugins and opportunities to be able to easily allow you to boost your conversion rate on Shopify. So we're always going to be a big proponent of going with Shopify.
Absolutely. So, all right. So let's say, they've chosen a platform. Hopefully they've chosen Shopify. What is the next big thing? They want to sell all of the products they're selling. Let's say there's a company with a ton of SKUs. What is the most important thing that they can do to have a successful advertising strategy?
Number two, preparing a supply chain for advertising B2C. So many times I talk to businesses, and what they'll do is they'll say, well, I'm going to sell all the most popular products to Walmart, to Amazon, and then all my leftover products, I'm going to hope to sell them on my website. And that's just not a realistic strategy, because the most popular products that you want to lead people in with should be products that you have fulfillment on your website for. So I always say, number two, build a supply chain around products that have the most likelihood to sell freshly to new consumers.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. I would say an add-on to that, maybe this is point number three, is, getting all those products in front of people with a product feed.
Yep, you couldn't have said it better. So compiling a product feed is number three. If you're doing multi-SKU e-commerce, the way you market on Facebook is you market through what we call dynamic product ads, or DPA ads, where you'll upload your product feed into Facebook, and Facebook will dynamically create an ad around each one of those products based on prior user behavior on your website. So very important. Have a product feed ready and willing and able, and start really focusing on uploading that product feed to both Facebook, to Google Shopping, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and we've actually put out a bunch of content about DPA ads. I mean, it's a big, big, big part of any e-commerce strategy. You need to have your product feed built out. You need to have DPA ads, right?
Yep. Number four, creative. This is the big one. This is the one that I would say is the most important area of your B2C strategy, is creative. How do I bring new people to my website that are engaged and show purchase intent to make a purchase? When I say creative, I mean video ads. Take 3 or 4 or 5 of your best products and feature them in a video ad. The best part about video ads is you can create these things called collection ads, where you can have a video and then a collection of products underneath it. And that is probably one of the most popular ad types on Facebook. So coming up with a creative strategy. All right, we're going to do a video shoot for these 6 products. Okay, we want to get 5 or 6 different videos out of this shoot. Okay, we want to get 30 or 40 Facebook ready images out of this shoot. coming up with a systematic model to actually coming up with creative, and then building kind of a predictive model for success. So literally once a month we have everything dialed in. We're going to do creative. Okay, great, perfect. Now you're ready to go. And I always say focus on creative.
Yeah, and I think one of the other interesting things from an advertising standpoint, from a creative standpoint, is now that you're selling direct to consumer, you're not just focused on top of funnel. If you're selling your products, let's say you're a toy company and you're selling in Toys R Us, you want to maybe create a TV commercial, make people aware that your product's out there and that they can buy it at Toys R Us. But now you need to make sure that people know about it. Yeah, but you also have to do middle and bottom funnel content. You got to have to actually get people to buy from your website. So you have other types of creative and other types of advertisements that you're building too.
Yep, you don't want just product feeds. You want advertising, product feeds. It's much different than just here's a picture of a product. So number 4, creative. Number 5, we're preparing ourselves for success. So we want to go into this thinking that we're going to be selling a lot of product. Well, what you're going to have when you sell a lot of product is you're going to have a lot more customers. So obviously customer support becomes a very big importance to your business is the customer support. I ordered this product, I didn't get it in time, I'm missing something. So building a model for customer support. Maybe you hire an outsourced call center to handle customer support initially while you start building customer support team in-house. But customer support, they're your liaison between the product and the consumer. So it's really important to have a strong customer support strategy when you launch, especially during the holiday season, because people are relying on purchasing your product as a gift.
Yeah, it's a really, really, really good point. So we've gotten 5 good points there. Steve, anything else you want to add in terms of big, high priority items?
Number 6, communication. Email marketing is very big. I would say having a strategy around when, how, and what system you're using for email. So we always recommend Klaviyo. Klaviyo is a great tool that integrates directly with Shopify. It allows you to set up specific emails to each user based on where they are in the life cycle of purchasing your product. I've never bought your product before, but I've input my information on your shopping cart and didn't make a purchase. B, I bought your product in the past, but I haven't purchased in a while. That's another list. So highly recommend setting up a most basic email marketing strategy, just hitting every single consumer with a welcome email. You're here, welcome. Thank you for purchasing my product. B, shopping cart abandonment email. I didn't purchase. I'm going to give you X discount, whatever, to get them to induce a purchase. But email marketing, very important. And then last but not least, this is the last one that I'm going to really chime in on, Stuart, is number 7, tracking. Very, very important. Making sure your pixels are properly set up. So many times we've seen stores, e-commerce stores, have multiple pixels on their website. 2 Facebook pixels on their website, which doubles the conversion. So you think you're doing a lot better than you're actually doing. So obviously, I always recommend doing a pixel audit before you press go on any campaign. So making sure that the right ad account to the right conversion pixel set up, making sure your Google Analytics is set up properly, making sure all the data is coming in so that you can understand your data.
Yeah, you need to be able to make the right decisions and know truly what's going on in your business. Double pixel, as you said, it's a recipe for some big, big problems. Well, those are some really good points that I think you've brought up about what companies need to do when they're shifting to an e-commerce first strategy. I'm sure there's some other things people might think. If you have any questions about this as well, I know this is a complicated topic. Just a reminder, you can always email the team here, Steve and myself, Steve at mute6.com, Stuart at mute6.com. If you have any questions about kind of moving into an e-commerce first strategy. Steve, any final thoughts before we jump off for today's episode?
Paid media is a scary, scary place for people who are new to it. I don't want to make it seem scary. There's a lot of buttons. There's a lot of things you could do, and there's a lot of what we call armchair quarterbacks, people who tell you that you should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should be doing that. The way you learn paid media, and I hate to say this, is trial and error. You have to go in there with a very open mind and test out as much stuff as possible. You really have to make the mistakes. hopefully you don't make a lot of mistakes. Hopefully you listen to our podcast and you listen to other podcasts and you're able to really understand, what you need to do. But part of going into this is being okay with making mistakes. And I think that's how I learned initially, 7-8 years ago when Facebook ads launched, is to really go in with an open mind and really be open to learning something new.
Yeah, excellent point. Excellent point. Well, this has been another episode of the Spend 10K a Day podcast. We're going to be back again soon with some more great Facebook ads and e-commerce content. For Steve and myself, thank you for joining. We will see you again next time.